Hey you guys, in the previous tutorial we kind of started on saving and opening files through the system IO without a file dialog. In this video we'll be able to combine both of the knowledge of without a file dialog and with a file dialog to make the program simple to use, very flexible, and very modern, I guess. So let's go ahead and open up our program in Visual Basic. Now, what you can do is just kind of watch what I do. If you don't want to program, you can just sit back and relax, because you really don't need to do this. You don't really need to exercise this. You can just kind of look and see what I do here. So go ahead, and what we want to do is, obviously when we save the file IO and we want to test opening it, we kind of don't want to just have to copy and paste it. So we can literally make it so these two things always equal each other. So let's go ahead and create a checkbox, because they may not want this to always equal each other. I don't know why I selected that. You're going to go ahead and create a checkbox and always equal. And let's go ahead and add the question mark there. So when this is equal to yes, what's going to happen is textbox4.text is equal to textbox3.text. And this, I actually only want this to happen is if checkbox1.checked equals true, then we can actually apply this function here. So what this is saying is that if we want these two text boxes to be equal, then it's going to say, hey, whenever you type here, whatever is here is going to be there. We can actually copy and paste this code, double click the text box 4, paste it in there, and just switch around the numbers on the text box. I love doing this because I don't have to retype the entire code. So let's go ahead and test this theory. So when they are not equal, what we'll notice is that none of them actually change with each other. So, however, if we select always equal, we can actually notice that they both change together. And we can go over here and even write and put user / Corey, and then automatically, if we want to turn it off, we can turn it off / Corey, and then whatever files that we want there. Now, something that we might want to add in here is these are just going to be settings, I guess, that we could have. We can make something that says always input file name. So this way, whenever we use the save file dialog and we save the file, it's going to show us the directory and it's going to display it there. And the same with the open, where we open the file. So when we hit save to, what we can say here is if checkbox2.checked equals true, let's go ahead and say it's textbox3.text is equal to save file name. So what this is saying is that if we want our file name to be saved and displayed, and it's checked here, it's going to display it for us. And literally we can have it do the same thing here. So if we go ahead and say if checkbox2.checked is equal to true, then let's go ahead and display that information. So textbox4.text is equal to, let's see here, it would be the open file file name. And we can go ahead and test this formula here that we have written down. So if we have both these equal, we can see that now if we're going to have some conflicting issues, because if we input this now, let's go ahead and let's start off easy, you guys. So if we put the input and we open up YouTube 1, actually no, crap, this is the saving. So if we want to save something and just YouTube and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, and we save it here and we want to name it as YouTube 1 and we hit yes, it's going to give us that file path here. Now, however, if we have both of these clicked, we want to save this as YouTube XYZ and we double click and we replace it, it's going to paste it in both of these, which isn't too bad. We can open it up, but people may not like that. I think this is the way that I would probably have it by default in my application, whether someone liked it or not, because it is very flexible and nice to be able to do. Now we're going to get a little ahead of ourselves, but it's going to be okay because I want you guys to be able to actually see how you can save and open these things as a file without, let's say, actually having a file output or a file name. So let's go ahead and create a new button, and let's call it Save to My Drive. Save to My Drive. This is going to be so they don't have to create a file name and they don't have to find a file name. It's right there. Then we can open from my drive. This is going to be really simple, you guys. So all we need to do is find the system IO. So save with IO. Here we go. We have this little code right here. Perfectly simple. That's all we need. Just paste it right into the save file. And we can see that it's going to be writing to this place right here. Well, we don't need that place anymore. We're going to save it to the directory of our application. So application.startup path, and then we need to continue the file path. And then let's name it content.txt. And then for the open from my drive is open with IO. We're going to copy it. And we can go ahead and paste this code open from my drive. Actually, that needs to be expanded a little bit more. I would kind of like them to look about the same size, so let's go ahead and make it do that. So we need this to have the same directory to be able to be opened. Now, if we're saving it, we need to be able to make sure that that file is deleted. So we need to create a if statement. If system.io.file.exist, and then we have our file, then we're going to delete that file. We're going to put actually a try statement inside of a try statement, but who cares? Okay, system.io.file.delete. So this is how you're going to delete the file. And then, yeah. So we're going to just literally copy this path because it's the only path we're dealing with here. And we're going to only try that. Basically, normally it would just override it, but we're going to just have it delete it for us just to keep things simple. So we go ahead and say, hey. We want to save this to our drive, and then, hey, we want to open it up. We opened it. Now let's say we want to make some changes, and we realized it wasn't long enough and much formal. So hello. My name is Corey. And then we want to save it. It literally, what just happened was a lot. It said, hey, this file exists. Let's delete it. So that way we can write over it. So it wrote to that path and it wrote what we wrote down. And then it closed the writer. So a lot happened there. So then we're going to open up the the file, and it just literally opens it up for us. Now we can do this a whole other way. If we open up our task manager, we can find that we have a vhost32 here. We can then open up that file location, which will actually bring us to the program itself. We will actually find our actual file here. And for some reason, this is not even on my monitor. So here, it says, hello, my name is Corey. And that's literally what's displayed here. So we can find where that is on the computer. Then eventually we'll get into encrypting and decrypting, and I'm going to go really far with these tutorials. So you'll learn everything that you guys will need to know on how to protect your stuff and keep everything safe and stabilized and so forth. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys stay and watch the next video, and please subscribe. See you guys next time.